So good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of a Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by JJ. He's a guitar player in Necropanther that, if you don't know, I interviewed the whole band last year when they were putting out a full EP, a full album, sorry, last year. But today, this Friday, they have a new EP out. So I'm here to talk only to JJ today. So JJ, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Hector. Thank you. It's nice to speak with you again.
Yeah, so this EP, it's a little bit different because it's with Oblivion Jones and it's called A Tale of False Consciousness EP. And, Oblivion Jones, there's saxophone on this. So it's 4 tracks. And one of the tracks is super long, but, it's something different. So tell us a little bit about, what made you guys do this collaboration with Oblivion Jones?
Yeah, so we in between the full lengths, which we all collaborate on, we have this series of EPs as well. Everybody in Necropanther writes music and lyrics. So one of the challenges that we have in our full lengths is figuring out what gets on the record, and also there's a collaborative process that includes some artistic compromise at times between the members of the band. And so having these EPs allows one member to sort of take over the band to write and produce. And
So this was your EP.
this was my EP. And I've got to say, I thought I knew what it was like to make a record. It was totally different doing it with myself as the writer and producer and making the decisions on my own. And it was really ingratiating to me how and humbling how my bandmates were willing to help support me on this process. And in terms of how the how we came to do this material, I had the story in my head that I wanted to tell about this painter who exists as something of an AI construct and existing for to create unforeseen or previously non-existent art for people who own the simulation, and then they bring him into the world for a retrospective of his work. And part of what I wanted to do was to have these different subgenres of metal represented in something like a symphonic form. So there's an allegro, a largo, a waltz, and then a rondo to complete the symphony cycle.
Yeah, and there's 4 songs, and the second track, it's a very long track at 11 minutes. That's the Transported Man. And on that one, the saxophone is very present. So so how did you hook up with Oblivion Jones? Did you guys meet? Because speaking of line, I know you like jazz.
Yeah. So we did actually meet when I was conceiving the EP. I did not have saxophone in mind for it originally, and we played a show at a brewery that's sort of near our practice space, and they were interested in having us as a metal band, and they also had Rico Jones, a saxophone player, and so I happened to go see his performance and just really liked his playing. And hearing the way he played, I thought he was somebody I would want to have as a soloist myself, his solo voice on the record as well as a saxophone player. I think saxophone is having a little bit of a moment in metal right now, and
Yeah,
I
for a few
couldn't
years now. Yeah.
be unaware of that. But I in all humility, I was not trying to jump on the bandwagon, but it was a sound that I felt like could help give some extra dimension and interest to the music that I had already started working on.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you guys are planning on EP. So this one is you. So the other 3 members, are they going to do like everyone will do like an EP?
Yeah, so I was the last one. So we did Oppression, which was Marcus's. We did that after Eyes of Blue Light. Marcus had joined the band during the Eyes of Blue Light sessions.
Mhm.
And so he had a bunch of material that he brought with him that was not going to make the record. And so that's sort of what started off the EP cycle. And as we worked on his material, it seemed I don't think I think all three of the rest of us thought, you know what, I've got some ideas that I'd like to explore that are not necessarily going to be part of the main LP project, and so we then took turns after that, and so I EUL at Unatig Leave was Håkan Sjogrens, our drummer. That's a black metal song that's written and sung in Norwegian, where he's from. And then In Depths We Sleep was the Paul Annup EP. And so I complete the cycle. I'm not sure what we're going to do next, but it's been a really useful thing for us to explore some different textures. And I think like I said, it helps us to see the overall project of how to make a record differently, with each of us serving as producer as well as writer for these EPs. So I think we'll do more in the future. Right now we're working on the next full length, but I think you'll see more EPs like this from us in the future.
Yeah, I think it's fun because you get like different personalities of the band. Did you enjoy the writing process?
Yeah, I love writing music. I love getting to come up with like in Transported Man some weird ideas and figure out how to get them to work as a song that hopefully has a little bit of a melodic hook and something memorable for audiences to experience and enjoy. And I also really like the process of, after you write something, then you sort of demo it out and develop it with your band, and then ultimately record a finished product. I enjoy that process of developing the material and then having something that hopefully is really polished at the end.
Yeah, so you were talking about, like the concept of the record and something having to do like with an artist that does AI. So I know the artwork is behind you, but I'm gonna show the artwork here. So the
Sure.
artwork is not AI, correct?
No, this is our longtime collaborator, Max Sherman.
Yeah, because
So
it does
he's
look like, yeah, that style from the when I talked to you guys on the last album. So yeah, tell me a little bit about the artwork.
Yeah, so we've been working with Max Sherman since Oppression. He was a friend of Marcus's, and so when Marcus did his EP, that's when we started working with Max, and he's done all of our cover art since then. I had a meeting and explained sort of the concept of Oblivion Jones to him, and spoiler alert, it never says these words in the lyrics, but Oblivion Jones is a simulated artist that is some form of AI that doesn't exist in the real world. He's owned by
Yeah.
millionaires, if you like, who want to generate new art, and then brought into the world after what he perceives as his death, brought into the world as a replicant, sort of as background material for his art exhibition. And so here you can see Oblivion Jones making that realization in the real world that he is a construct of some kind, and that what he experienced as his struggles and his attempt to create meaning in what he perceived as his own life was really something different.
Nice. So what inspired the story for you?
I think it was a story that was percolating for me for some time. In addition to writing lyrics, sometimes I'll write stories, and it's something that I may eventually develop as a story or a novella or something like that.
Yeah, it could be
But
like a
it
comic book or a
yeah,
graphic novel.
yeah. So but it was a story that I wanted to explore. And, I think it served us well to have some source material for the full lengths. We haven't really done that on the EPs. We've originated different original stories. And so that was something that I wanted to do on this EP. And as I was, I had the framework of the story in my head when I started. And as I built out the songs on the EP, that helped to flesh out what I would consider to be the story. And then with that symphonic form, those constraints helped me to understand where it needed to go to fill the formal hole.
So for you, being the producer here, what was the hardest thing for you, being like the producer of everything?
One of the concept, it's really hard because that's the producer role is a complicated role, and in underground metal, we know we're not going to make $1 million off of this record, so you have to figure out what your goals are, right? If I'm Bob Rock, I know I need to sell 1 million copies of this record, or it's not a success, right? I didn't have that
or get
problem.
your band into rehab.
Yes, well, there's that option too. That may be a way to ultimately sell more records. But with Necropanther, the goals are fundamentally artistic. We want to satisfy a certain expectation of our fan base, and we want to make sure that we're delivering a quality product that people can enjoy and that they would want to buy for real money. But at the end of the day, we're trying to move the art form of metal and black and thrash forward. And so as a producer, you have to figure out what is it that doesn't exist yet. And it was surprising to me in this process how little I knew about that, being a guitar player and a co-producer of several records before. So that was challenging to me. I also knew that I wanted to give my bandmates really wide latitude as performers, even though I had written the music. If they had an idea about how to play it, as long as it didn't violate sort of the narrative and the vision of what I wanted to accomplish, I was willing to delay making certain decisions to allow their performances to help bring the music to greater level of detail and vitality.
Yeah, no. So would you, like, in the future, would you like produce other bands? Is that something like that you would like seek out in the future?
We have a really vigorous and fulfilling program with Necropanther, and that takes a lot of time, and that's my favorite thing to do artistically. So that really takes priority. If another band were to approach me to do something like that, I would certainly entertain the offer, and if I felt like the band had something really unique and original to offer, that would make it more attractive for sure. I think as a musician of a certain age, I feel like we have knowledge and a responsibility to sort of pass on what we've learned to the younger generation to help make sure that metal is vital in the future. And I would love to have younger bands be able to benefit from the knowledge that's taken me and my bandmates a lot of time and struggle to learn how to make a quality product. So I would enjoy that.
That's good. The first step would be take away the laptops. Play without the laptops.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be in the band. You have, like, we, all kidding aside, we use a lot of technology in our workflow, but there is no doubt about it. Bringing the material into a practice room and living with it and trying to perform it as a group with musicians that are of the same caliber as you, it will end up different music on the other side of it, and that is part of the secret sauce. It's a process oriented act to be in the practice space, and there's no substitute for that.
So so you guys have these EPs out, and like, so you're going to start recording a new one this year, or will this be for next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think after we did Eyes of Blue Light and Oppression, we had a band meeting and decided we wanted to be really aggressive in the timeline to make our next full-length record. We made the Doom City in about a year. And there were risks and benefits to that. When we came around to do the last full-length Betrayal, we decided we didn't want to be as aggressive with the timeline.
I remember
Betrayal
because
2 years.
That's the album that we talked about.
Yes.
Here when you were promoting that one. So yeah, I like this, that you can have like different EPs and get like each of the band members like personality. Maybe like you could do that with a full length, like everyone writes 4 songs, and then you have like that would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really have worked on our collaborative process. So on the first record, it was really mostly songs that either Paul or I wrote, and we had one that we collaborated on. I would say we probably have built up our ability to collaborate in the full length since then. But it ends up being, the idea that one person brings to the band, and then the rest of the band, may be led by 1 or 2 other people, help to bring to fruition. I think we might see, we're still early on in the process, but we might see something where each person brings a few fully realized song ideas, and then we'll develop from those. I don't think we're gonna abandon collaboration in the songwriting and the full lengths most of the time, but you never know.
Yeah, and you are actually releasing this. It's gonna be on CD, LP, and other forms. Where can they pre-order this?
Yeah, so it released today. This is May 3rd, and it's on Bandcamp. That's our best platform for reaching our fans. So we have the CDs in stock. They'll be shipping out on Monday, and the LPs. I think everybody knows it takes a little bit longer to press LPs these days. So the LPs are on order. And it'll be a few weeks to get those in for sure.
Awesome. So we were talking before. So you're in a jazz festival. Have been these days. Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah. So as it happens, I'm taking this interview from New Orleans, Louisiana. I happen to be here. I got the invitation to join Joel Cummins from Humphreys McGee at his. It's off. It's not part of the actual festival, but for people who've been to Jazz Fest, that New Orleans has a lot of live music all the time, and so the musicians that are here play side gigs. And so I played with Joel Cummins last night, and we did some classic rock and Americana.
Nice.
And I was I was bringing a little bit of heavy guitar and lead guitar to that experience. We also had Scott Page, the saxophone player from Pink Floyd, Toto, and Supertramp there. He and I have played together before a little bit, and so it was good to play with him again and do some of those Pink Floyd songs. But it's a funny coincidence because with a different, very talented saxophone player, Rico Jones, on my EP, and playing this gig with Scott Page, and I've played with some pretty heavy hitter saxophone players this year, after being in all string bands for some time before that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Which Pink Floyd songs did you guys play?
We played Young Lust and Have a Cigar, and Scott did some others with a different configuration of the band.
Nice. I'm sure that was fun, and it has to be fun for you, like being like in more extreme metal bands, to play this type of stuff.
Yeah, it really puts me outside of my element, and in a Necropanther set, I definitely know what to expect from everybody there, and sort of jamming out some of these classic rock songs that I'm very familiar with. The material is known to me, but how everybody is going to react on a one night only type of thing
Mhm.
is very interesting. And so having to think on your feet and then articulate that on your instrument in real time in front of an audience is a challenge that I haven't been doing a lot lately. And so I felt like it really stretches me as a player, and hopefully that's something that I can bring back to Necropanther and have some additional perspective on my playing and maybe the project itself too.
Yeah, I think it gives you like a different perspective of what to add, and not like play extreme metal in a certain way. Like you can experiment and bring different things to make it be more like, like evolutionize the music, like grow on the music. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say that, the jam band format, they're very receptive to other types of music, extreme metal being one of them. But it's definitely obvious when I show up with the style of music that I play that it's one of the most aggressive uh, sounds in the band, and so learning how having that perspective on my playing, and also learning to moderate it and play with dynamics, frankly, it was an interesting and useful thing for me in the last couple of weeks preparing for this gig.
Yeah. So with this EP, talking so much about like artificial intelligence, what is your stance on artificial intelligence for cover art or in music?
Yeah, I have used some artificial intelligence for various activities in my life. I don't it's a tool, right? It's like a Google search. That would be shocking and amazing to people from even 20 years before that existed. It's not a magic lantern.
No.
And if I had to choose, I would rather have artificial intelligence doing my dishes than doing
Oh,
my art.
I was gonna say
So
that, or folding my clothes.
yeah, so um, I'm not. I don't think I think it's going to be a fact of life going forward. I think it's something for us to consider with with ethics, and with consider how we want our lives to be. And if you really think um, that a machine creating your art is the way to go, okay, you're entitled to live your own life. For myself as a songwriter and a guitar player, that's not my belief, but and that's just not how I want to live my life. I'm happiest when I'm playing my guitar, so that's what I'm going to
Yeah.
try to do.
Yeah. So JJ, I'm not gonna take more of your time. So I'm sure you want to go out and enjoy more of New Orleans. Are you catching more acts today?
Yeah, there are a few concerts to go to, so I'm hoping to see a little bit more live music before I hit the road. And I love New Orleans. I love jazz, and who knows, maybe I'll find a guest soloist for the next record.
Yeah, maybe you will. So people, the new Necropanther EP is out as we speak. Oblivion Jones, not to be confused with Motherfucker Jones. That's from a movie. You remember that movie, The Horrible Bosses?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, well, there was a character there. It was called Motherfucker Jones. So, yeah, but not to be confused. So, yeah, the EP, it's good. It still has thrash metal and black metal elements, like black and thrash, but, there's a longer song and the saxophone. So, it's pretty cool and also can satiate the Necropanther fans' appetite before a new album comes along, maybe next year.
Well, thanks a lot, Hector. It's been great to speak with you.
Yeah, same here. So people, until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.